welcome to another exciting edition of Explore Richland. I'm your host, Mark Ingham. Now, the City of Richland provides a handful of essential city services to its residents. But one of these services is so vital, I don't think we consider it a service as much as we do a necessity. What a luxury to enter your house, turn on your faucet, and instantly have access to clean drinking water. Now, behind that simple act is a lot of hard work and science carried out here by the dedicated workforce at the water treatment plant. In today's program, we will explain how the water department treats and distributes water to every home and business in the city of Richland. Well, now I'm thrilled to welcome Brent Andrews to the program. Brent is the Water Operations Supervisor for the City of Richland. Brent, thanks so much for joining us today.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Now, any city that wants to provide their city with clean drinking water, that water has to come from a source. And for the City of Richland, our source is the Columbia River. Brent, how reliable of a water source is the Columbia River, and maybe how clean is it?
The Columbia River for us is a very reliable source. Year-round, we only average maybe a 1 NTU turbidity, which is how dirty the water level is. And at the most we've had maybe 20, 22, whereas some other cities deal with like 300. It's a very reliable source for us, very consistent.
And now the next question is equal parts fascinating and complicated. Brent, share with us how the City of Richland collects and treats water.
So here we pull in water from the Columbia River, and this water treatment facility averages it can produce up to 36 million gallons a day. We average probably around 16 million throughout the year here. We pull the water in from the Columbia River, we bring it into a partial flume, and then we add chlorine to do our disinfection, and then we add a coagulant, which is polyaluminum chloride. So the next step in the process, this is our contact basin. After it comes in from the partial flume, and we add the disinfectant, the bleach, and then the coagulant, it comes in here and we produce flock. So polyaluminum chloride produces a microflock. So what it does, it takes all the particles in the river of a negative charge. We're adding a positive charge so they bond together and produce this flock. And that makes it so we can filter it out. So the microorganisms and the particles, they'll get filtered out and not make it through the filter into the water system. So after the contact basin where we do the flocculation and the disinfection, the water comes here. These are the filters. So the water is brought in on top. You have the raw water with the chemical on top, and it filters down through the filter media. Once it comes out the bottom, it is clean, and you're able to drink it.
Yeah, and it's hard to, we can't see the filter media, but maybe can you explain what that filter media is?
Yeah, there's about 4 layers of filter media in these. You have layers of anthracite coal on the top. The next layer is a silica sand, and then you have garnet sand and garnet gravel. So the bottom layers are just for support. That top layer is where we do all the filtering, and that anthracite coal, about the top 8 inches of that is where all the filtering is done.
And now these filter basins are the ultimate optical illusion, because to me it just looks like this water is sitting here, but this water is actually just flowing through these filters. How quick does water make it through the treatment plant? From, I guess, we pull it out of the river, through the treatment plant, to your house. What's that?
Correct. Yeah, right now we have about 6.5 million gallons a day going through the treatment facility. So that's what you see going through here. And for that to go through, you're looking about 3 hours from the water coming in raw to where it leaves and it's clean and pure and able to drink.
And that's amazing to me. That just seems so fast to me. That's amazing. Now, we've talked about how the water is treated. So now that we have treated water, how do we distribute it to every city, home, and every business?
So from here we have our clear well where we hold the water. We have 2 million gallons of storage here, and then we have a high service pump where we pump the water out into the system. And from in the system we pump it to the reservoirs and to our booster stations. So, and from those booster stations, that's where it creates the pressure zones. So if you live on the south side of town in upper elevation, we have to pump water above you so that water can come down and create pressure in your home. But we have to pump everything from here to create the pressure in your homes. So there's miles and miles of distribution system throughout the city.
Now, as you mentioned earlier, another very important part of our water system are wells. Talk a little bit about how those wells work, how they treat water at the site, and how many wells do we have in the city of Richland?
Yeah, throughout the whole city we have 11 wells. We have 8 out in North Richland that we actually pump river water out into some slow sand filters that work. The water works its way down into the ground, into the aquifer. And the water we pump out of those 8 wells actually has characteristics of the Columbia River. So, and we use UV disinfection out there along with injecting bleach for disinfection because you have to have a chlorine residual, that bleach throughout the whole system. So, and then we have some other wells down on Wellsian Way in Richland. There's 2 wells down there that we treat, and then there's also one here close to the main water treatment plant, 1100B well, that we run.
Wow, that's fascinating. And Brent, what organization monitors, the water quality here at the water treatment plant?
So Department of Health is our main source that does all of our testing that we run through. So we do multiple tests daily. So as far as checking the chlorine residual, we're doing about 28 of those today. And then we have a coliform monitoring program where we're running about 72 of those samples every month. So, and those get sent in to the Department of Health through their lab. All of our lab testing is done by third party, so we don't do it here on site other than our normal testing that we do for pH and chlorine residuals and that. But any major testing is done through a third party lab. And then Department of Ecology also monitors us for any water that we would discharge back to the Columbia River, wastewater.
Now, our water plant was built in 1963. But talk about some of the improvements, upgrades, maybe changes to how we treat water here at the City of Richland that have happened over those 56 years.
Yeah, and so back in 1995, we did a full plant upgrade, and we added 4 more filters up to the top and changed some of our chemical processes. And then in 2016, what you see here is we changed our disinfection. We went from gaseous chlorine, which is a very unstable product, to on-site generation. And on-site generation, we take bulk salt in, we add water, soft water to it, and produce a brine solution. And that brine solution goes through these generators, which has electrical plates in them. And that brine solution, when it comes through those plates, it produces bleach. And we produce a 0.6% bleach here. And that's what we use for disinfection.
Wow, very cool. Now, Brent, talk a little bit about the dedicated and passionate employees that work here at the water treatment plant.
Yeah, we have a great group of guys that are very dedicated to the water profession and our community. So here in the operations side of it, we have about 10 employees. We have 5 shift operators. We have 1 operator in training. And then we have 2 plant mechanics and 2 water quality coordinators. And then on the maintenance side, they have 13 individuals that are very dedicated to their craft and very good at what they do, that are out, fixing main leaks and checking pressure problems or any problems we have, cleaning reservoirs. We clean our reservoirs every other year, so on a rotation. So we have a very dedicated and good staff.
Well, I think that's a great place to end this program. I'd like to thank Brent Andrews for coming on the program and educating us on the city's water utility. Now, if you would like more information on the City of Richland's water utility, they would love to hear from you. You can contact Brent Andrews at the contact information below and schedule a private tour of this facility. Now, if you would like more information on anything happening in the City of Richland, you can log on and visit us at our webpage at the link below. And don't forget, we are where you are. Find the City of Richland on all the popular social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Mark Ingham. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Explore Richland.